Hello, dear students. In our lesson today, we're going to do some speaking, or we're going to see some conversations in which we can see how to make suggestions, how to describe the home, or to take some job interviews. So we're going to see the vocabulary about that. Now, first of all, when we want to make a suggestion to a friend, to somebody, we might say, or we might ask, do you fancy going to the cinema, for example? Or let's go and have a picnic. How about going to the theater? We could play basketball. I think we should go to the lake. What about visiting a museum? Why don't we go to our friend's house? So these are different ways of making suggestions, of asking or suggesting something. Now, if we want to agree with a suggestion, with something that our friend, for example, said, we can say, that's a good or that's a great idea. We like the idea. Or, that sounds great. That sounds good. Or, why not? So these are ways to show that we like the idea from the other person. But if we don't really like what the other suggested, then we can say, I'm sorry, I'm not keen on. So I'm sorry, I don't really like, for example, what you said. I don't really like going, for example, to the cinema. I'd rather go to the theater. I'm not sure about that. Or, let's go, for example, let's go to the park instead. So instead of what you said, let's do this other thing. So, these are ways of. Now, since we saw the different ways that we can make suggestions, we can agree or disagree, let's put those expressions into practice. Okay, we have different suggestions and different answers. I would like you to remember the expression that we saw and to fill them in the gaps here. So, do you fancy, says someone, what? Going to the cinema tonight. So do you fancy going to the cinema? That's what? That's a good idea. What do you want to see? The new film with Jennifer Aniston, says the other person. Oh no, I am not, and you have the missing part here, on romantic comedy. If you don't like something, you can use the expression, I am not keen on romantic comedy. I am not keen on, I don't like, I don't really feel like. I'd what? I'd rather see an action film. I'd rather or I would prefer something else. Okay, let's see the new James Bond. Remember the word that we can use, so I don't like this thing, but I like that thing, instead. So instead of the Jennifer Aniston film, let's see the James Bond instead. Great! How? What is the expression? How about having a burger before we go? So how about, what do you think? And if you agree, you can say, why not? We could try, or we can try that new burger bar in the town. So here you can put could, you can put can. These are different ways of suggesting and agreeing or disagreeing, we said. Okay. Now, let's imagine that we have seen an advertisement. So we talked about suggestions. Now we're going to talk a little bit about applications. So, and interviews, of course. So before getting the job, we need to have an interview. We have seen this advertisement. Kids are cool. Summer fun club. Have you got experience working with children? What is needed in that job? We are looking for cheerful and energetic coordinators. So this is what they look for our summer holiday children's clubs. Call Chris on the telephone number. Now, you are interested in this job and you're going to have an interview. But before that, you see the advertisement and there are some questions that you need to answer to yourself. What kind of job is it? So we're talking about what? People that are going to work with children. And they're going to be what? Coordinators. This is the job. And what qualities do coordinates need? What do they need? How should I be in order to get this job? Cheerful and energetic. This is what is needed. So I need to keep these things in my mind when I'm going to have the interview so that I can include them in my answers. So imagine that you are interested and you're going now to have the interview with who? With Chris. So let's see. The interview has already started and I am Miss Higgins. So, good morning, Miss Higgins. Please take a seat. So I am offered to take a seat. I sit down, I'm Miss Higgins, and I say, thank you. Now, let's start. Could you please tell me why you are interested? What is the expression? Why you are interested in this job? And my answer as Miss Higgins, I never forget the advertisement that I saw. I keep that in my mind. I need to use the words that I saw in there. I am starting a degree in education in September. So, the job is about working with children, being coordinates. So, my degree is going to be in education in September. That's why I'm interested in this job. I would, what? I would like, of course, to get some relevant experience. I have to be polite. I cannot say, I want to get. I have to say, I would like to get. And save some money over the summer. So, I explain the reasons why I want to get this job. And Chris says, do you any previous experience? So, what am I going to put? Do you have any previous experience of working, of course, with children? And it continues, the conversation continues. Yes, I do. I did some voluntary work at an after-school club last year. I really enjoyed it. So, of course, I have some working experience, but I have to say that my working experience has to do with the job that is being advertised. Differently, I'm not going to mention that. So, we need to work with children, so I'm talking about the after-school club. And Chris continues, what were, he's asking Miss Higgins, he's asking me, let's say, what were your responsibilities? And the girl answers, I mainly organized games and craft activities for young children. Then he's asking again, good. And what qualities do you have that make you, the expression is suitable for, that make you suitable for this position? And the answer, well, I'm very cheerful and patient. I'm also creative and I like children. So in order for me to get the job, I have the qualification that this job requires. And since I'm going to work with children, I need to say that I am cheerful, I'm happy, I am patient, I am creative. Okay. Now, that conversation almost ended, a little bit more. So he says, I see. Do you have now, we are at the end of the conversation, of the interview. So, do you have any questions? Yes, just one. If I get the job, what hours will I be working? So, Miss Higgins is asking Chris. And now he answers, the hours are 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday, what? Monday to Thursday. Or we can say that differently, from Monday to Thursday, or Monday to Thursday. And Miss Higgins says, that is fine. And then, well, I will call you to let you know what? By next Friday. So until next Friday, I will have called you. Thank you for coming, Miss Higgins. And Miss Higgins answers, thank you. She's being very polite. I am looking forward to hearing from you soon. So this is the interview based on the advertisement that we saw, that we were interested in getting the job. Now, I would like you to have as homework to think of the interview that we just did, and you have seen this advertisement. Big Mike's Burgers requires summer staff. Are you a teenager looking for valuable work experience in the summer holidays? Can you cook? Can you clean and take orders? We're looking for punctual. Punctual are people that are on time, easygoing, so sociable with others, and trustworthy young people, people that we can trust, that we can believe in. To join our team for the summer, experience in customer service and kitchen work is an advantage. So what I would like you to do is to take a look at the advertisement, and based on the interview that we did together, I would like you to create such thing based on what Mr. Mike Pickles requires. So write it down, and then you can compare and contrast with your friends. Thank you very much for paying attention, and don't forget to practice a lot with the interview and the conversation. Goodbye.